SK Vibemaker.
Queen Naija, what's happening?
I'm doing great, man. I released my album. I'm trying to stay in good spirits. I'm trying to keep up with the promo, trying to stay hungry, because sometimes people release things and then just like let it be. So I just want to stay on top of it.
I mean, a lot of people are joining your journey now. You've definitely had a few paths in your journey, starting at doing music, reality TV, the YouTube era, and now being a credible musician, putting out music. How would you describe the journey so far and how your fans have followed you through that journey?
First of all, I just want to say thank you to all my supporters that stuck with me from day one, from watching me on YouTube. They basically seen my whole, not my whole life story, but whatever I show them, it feels like my whole life story, because believe me, there's more to me than what you've seen on camera. But it's definitely been trial and error. It's been times where I thought that YouTube was it. Like that was my break. That was my big break. And that was my way out of poverty or whatever you want to call it. But it was just a bridge to gap, between the two, music to get me to where I am now. And I've maintain keeping my fan base through it all. So super, and it has grown as well. So that's a blessing for me.
That in between part between, doing music at the beginning and coming back to music, did you ever feel disheartened, or was it always, the ambition to come back to the music?
Ambition, definitely, to come back to the music. I feel like ultimately, music is what I was born to do. I was born with a voice. God gave me this gift and there's no way I'm not going to use it. And also, like, a lot of the times I'd stop singing or doing music is because like something knocked me down before then, like, and just discouraged me to do it. Like for example, when I did American Idol when I was like 17, 18, I got sent home. Like I just kind of like stopped. I don't know. I didn't want to do any more shows, but I kind of just like, I didn't stop singing at home, but it wasn't something I was going to think about pursuing, cause I don't know. And then when I got pregnant, I'm like, okay, definitely, I'm going to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. Cause like, how am I going to be able to pursue my career with a baby? And I'm a young mom, and like, I don't know how to be a mom. So I have to focus on trying to be the best mom. So how can I do that and pursue my dream? But as you guys can see right before you, sometimes things just fall right into your lap.
And it's all part of the journey. I mean, a lot of people do go through that, reality TV, music contests, direction, that path as well, whether it's American Idol, Pop Idol, The Voice. Is that something that you would advise for young artists to get in the game through your experience, or would you say that it's something that you need to steer clear of?
I mean, I wouldn't say avoid it, I mean, definitely, even though even like it still was a part of my journey, it still was some kind of exposure for my voice. It still was fun as heck, to meet different people all around the world that have the same dream as me, so I wouldn't advise like staying away from it, but I wouldn't say get your hopes up. Don't let that be your top goal. Okay, let me just win American Idol, or let me win this show. Like that shouldn't be your goal. Your goal should be much bigger than that, aim higher.
I mean, it's easy for a guy like myself to say, because I just wake up in the morning, get washed, and I'm good to go, man. But for women, obviously, there's a lot involved, especially when you're, a musician, a celebrity, an artist. Do you feel much pressure to live up to those expectations to be glam all the time?
Absolutely. Yes. No, I didn't used to feel this way, but now, like, I feel like if I'm in a camera, I have to look almost perfect, because like it sucks. It really sucks, because I didn't used to feel that way, but after years of being like bashed online about the way I look, or like what I wear, and just like all like I know it's gonna happen either way, but I would rather just look my best on camera, because who wouldn't want to look their best? And it just really sucks being in a spotlight sometimes, but I don't know.
We've got an artist in the UK who's taken a similar direction of yours, who's come through the YouTuber, being a popular YouTuber, and transitioned into music. Her name's Ivorian Doll, and she's spoken about the pressures of what you was just speaking about, and feeling pressure to have body surgery and things like that. Have Definitely. You felt those pressures, and is that something you've considered or maybe done?
All right, so well, let me just tell you, I wouldn't say it's from social media, because I wasn't famous I wasn't famous at all when I was thinking about getting a mommy makeover. Actually, I had just had my first son, and I had seen how drastically my body changed. I went from, like, I used to be, you guys, I used to be so thin and so, like, my stomach was perfect, no wrinkles, no nothing. And then I had the baby, and then I was still like 19, 20, and I had the baby, and I was just like, man, like, oh my God, what's happened? Like, I look different, like, and I think, like, that was back before I even started YouTube. So I had been, but see, the only difference is I was broke, so I couldn't afford to get no surgery. So I really, really want to fix it. And I don't want to say this to encourage other women, like, oh, it's bad to be flawed, or, honestly, like, everyone has their own opinions and their own road they want to take. If you can embrace your stretch marks and all of that. I still have my stretch marks, but you can still embrace it and all that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But just me as myself, like, it just changed so quickly for me. So I had been thinking about that. And then when I finally became in the spotlight, it got even worse, where it's like, okay, now I'm in pictures. Now people are taking bad angles of me. Now I'm in the dressing room, and I'm trying to, like, I can't wear certain things because I don't feel confident about my body. So, I did what I wanted to do and what made me happy. And I took my money and I spent it on, a mommy makeover. And I got some fat sucked out, you know what I'm saying? And some fat put in somewhere. But it's just like, like, that's my prerogative. Like, people can do what they want. But yes, it definitely plays a big part. Being in the spotlight plays a big part on wanting to look a certain way.
Before we got on the mics today, you were definitely singing some Aaliyah back and forth. Classic 90s R&B. Lie to Me featuring Lil Durk, samples, and an old school DeBarge record, which was made famous by Tupac, I Ain't Mad at Ya. So
That's definitely what I meant. The bars, not the dream.
Bars,
but
not the dream.
Yeah, the bars.
The
Yeah, I said
bars,
the dream.
you know what I'm saying?
The song is called Dream.
So you are definitely into that old school, music. I mean, how did you get into the old school sounds? Was this something which was while you were in the studio with the producer, or were you growing up listening to a lot of 90s-esque, 80s-esque R&B and soul?
Definitely grew up listening to a lot of 70s through 90s R&B. Definitely, I grew up listening to gospel, all of that. So anything with soul in it, I was on it. Blues, I already knew about it. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up with it, and it's just like it's been embedded into my brain. I love it. And I remember my mom used to be like, oh, you're going to understand when you get older. And I was like, no, turn off this old stuff, And like now I love it. So, and it obviously shows within the music that I do. I had to have some kind of like old kind of feel in there, some kind of nostalgia.
You and Durk had a nice chemistry on this, man. How did you and Durk connect?
Oh, so actually, through London J, he's a writer. He actually connected us. He called him because I guess I needed a feature on the song, and he called them right away, and he did it. And then I think I messaged him, and I was like, "Yo, thank you." Like me and Durk had already connected through Instagram, because I think around 2018 he wanted me to jump on his remix to Homebody, and I couldn't do it because I was pregnant. It was just so much going on, and we finally got to do this here, and I thanked him for it. We did the video. He was super nice, super humble, and it's great to work with great people.
You're very open about being a parent. Like, it's well documented. You have 2 sons.
Yes.
You've made music dedicated to your children already. How would you describe the challenge of juggling this entertainment, music life, and parenting? How has it been for you?
It's definitely, it's challenging at times. But of course, when you have the right support system around you and people to help you, you know how they say it take a village to raise kids? Well, I feel like it's really true, especially for somebody like me. I can't always give them my full time, and it really sucks because I don't want them to grow up resenting me and be like, oh, mommy worked so much, mommy don't love it. I don't want them to feel that way. So I definitely have to learn I'm still learning how to balance it all out, because of course this is my dream and passion, but I'm a mom first. So it's like, I put these kids here, well, God did, but I put these kids, they came from me. They didn't ask to be here. So how dare I not give them like everything that they need while they're young, especially while they're young. So it's definitely challenging, but I do have a great support system, and I feel like they feel like they're loved, and I think that they're gonna take what I do and look at it and feel like they can go and chase behind their dreams as well.
How much of a sense is there of being a role model and considering them when you are making your music? Obviously, you can't make all your music PG, and I heard you talking about in another interview about, you know, considering making gospel music, you know, having such a big YouTube following as well, and all these young girls that are, you know, watching you, looking to you for advice, following your journey. How much of a sense is there to be a role model, not only just to your children with your music, but to your legions of young YouTube followings?
Well, I look at it like this, you know, I don't like the saying like I'm not perfect just to do things, but also at the same time, it's like if I try to be so like censored all the time, I'm gonna just end up being fake. Like I'm a whole human. Like everybody know I got kids. People know I didn't have sex. People know, like, you know what I'm saying? These are the things I talk about in my music are things that people can relate every day. Like it's life, you know, this is what the things that happen, like the things that we go through. I used to even, you know, try not to curse in my music because I do still want to be able to cross over and sing about God, you know, without being judged. But, you know, I guess lately I've done it because I was just told that like it just brings more feeling. When you mad at somebody, right? When you're mad, do you find yourself trying to hold back on like cursing or like saying how you really feel? Like you just say it because it's how you feel. So it's the same thing with music. Like if you feel a way, you're gonna
Express
just
yourself.
say, yeah, express yourself. So I'm just really trying to express myself, and you know, this is a lot of this. Majority of it is my story, and the other part is just being an artist and just stepping into different bags like an actress. But my story is being written still. You know, it's still like it's not over. So I feel like wherever God takes me and wherever He leads me, like I have a final, like I have a destination He wants me to go, but whatever detour I take, I'm still gonna get there. You feel me? So it's
Amen.
like, amen. So um you know, I still have a relationship with him, you know, needs to be better, I would say. You know, it's not the best, but I still have a relationship with him, and I feel like you know, he knows my heart. So I definitely want to I do want to be a role model to young girls. I want them to look up to me and know that they can like get through anything, turn their pain into success or whatever. But at the same time, I can't hold back on being human.
Let's talk about love language. They say that men are from Mars. What did they say? Women are from Mars and men are from Venus or something like that. Basically that, you know, the opposite sex are from different planets and that. So understanding a person's love language is the real conundrum when it comes to relationships. So seeing as you have a song about it, Queen Naija, put everybody onto some game into how they should understand a woman's love language.
Well, I feel like as a couple, period, when you're in a relationship, and even not being in a relationship, just your friends, your family members, I feel like you guys, it's important to learn each other's love language because sometimes you could be, for example, in a relationship and you're giving your all the way you know how because that's the way you communicate. But the way they're receiving it is probably not, they're not receiving it the right way because that's not their love language. So if my love language is words of affirmation and my spouse's is I don't know, acts of service, he probably could be doing something for me like, oh, I cleaned this up for you, like why don't you, but that's like, no, I want to hear what you got to say to me. Like we're like not communicating the same way. So it's very important to know each other's so that you can when you learn theirs, you can communicate their love language to them so they can get it, and vice versa, you know. And I just feel like, I don't know, like in the song Love Language, it did sound like I was talking about a lot about doing things, but at the same time, that's a part of affection, you know, touch, physical touch and all of that.
Real talk.
Yeah, it's a part of affection, and it's some you want to feel loved. You want to feel like you mean something to someone when they caress you and do all that stuff and tell you they love you and play in your hair and So let me ask you something. Let me flip this interview on you.
Go on then.
What are like the top what is the main thing you need to hold a relationship together for that long?
I've realized that
Forgiveness?
I'm a big advocate for communication. I don't go to sleep with grudges. And sometimes I realize that I'm going to have to hold the L even if I think I'm right. It just goes like that.
Man, tell me about it.
It just goes
Tell
like
me
that.
about it. Sometimes, like, even if you feel like you're right, you know what? Let me just shut up because I don't like. It's not worth it to go no further. I'm just hold this L. I feel you completely, man. I get it.
And you can't act off like the immediate emotion as well, man. Time is good. Time is a healer. Time makes everything like gives you better perspective.
Yeah, give it time.
Give it time.
React.
Get me? That's the little preach for today. How about that? Relationship advice for you.
I love it. Thank you. I needed that.
All right. So the debut album is called Misunderstood. How misunderstood is Queen Naija, and how does she go about dealing with being misunderstood?
Man, I'm misunderstood in so many ways, I would say. You know, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who do understand me that are just like me, but to a lot of people in the general public, I feel misunderstood. Since I've been on social media, people has twisted my words. They don't get my humor. Any little thing I say, they flip it and make it like I'm the bad guy or like I said something wrong. People keep putting me in this YouTuber box, like, you know, like, oh, I'm not like people. I feel like people doubted me because I came from YouTube and they feel like this is not my calling and they didn't expect for me to make such good music. Like I'm just doing this for fun. Well, honestly, it is fun still, but like I'm just doing it just to do it, and I'm not, you know. I'm just misunderstood in so many ways. Like people have called me like things like a colorist, and they still call me a colorist and won't stop. You know, just from certain things that I've said that they twisted. What else? And people also think that every single thing that I make a song about, it has to be about my own life. So, for example, Lie to Me. Now all of a sudden people feel like, oh, well, Clarence must be cheating on her because she's condoning it and she doesn't care. She just wants him. Like, why don't people just know how to separate the artist from the human? And it's just, you know, like, I feel like it's not only with me. Probably a lot of other artists feel misunderstood as well. But just overall as a like my way of thinking, my logic of things. So it's just like, I felt like that my whole life, and I feel like it's never gonna go away. But whatever, it is.
You can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. I tell you what, Queen Naija, we have something in common. We are both Black Italians. I heard you're Black Italian as well, even though you've got Arab and Indian heritage, right?
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what Indian. All I know is I'm Black, Italian, and Arab.
So some people might understate it or not even understand if they don't have that type of heritage and upbringing. But how did you deal with that dynamic growing up? You know, growing up being mixed heritage. Everybody's not got the same mixed heritage of you. You spoke about the colorism issues that you had before. How did you get through that minefield?
I grew up in a household with just my mom and my sister and brother. And from what I see, all I see is Blackness. We're Black. I grew up in a Black household. We said Black things that other Black households say. And truthfully, I'm not gonna lie to you. Growing up in school, I wasn't looked at as a Black girl because I guess I'm a lighter version of a Black girl. I've always been looked at, oh, she mixed, she thinks she all of that, or she soft, or because of my skin. I feel like if you want to turn it around, I've been, you know, looked at as different and not Black. I'm not Black enough. You feel me? So that's something I definitely have faced, and I'm still facing till this day, having to prove that I'm Black. People just, you know, they don't get it, and they don't feel like I should be able to say that I'm Black because I'm my father's Arab. But I also feel like this. My father he's Arab. I don't know my father, by the way, but he's Yemen. He's from Yemen. He's Yemeni. If you look at Yemeni people, they're darker.
People of color.
They're people of color. You know, my father is probably darker than me. People over there are like, it's a lot of people that their skin tone is way darker than mine. So how could you sit here and say that I'm not a person of color? You know, and I just feel like, you know, some people, you know, I've been able to speak to them and they understand. Some people just still won't get it and still just choose not to entertain it and still want to call me this and that. But I guess that's just the way life goes, you know, especially I can't, like you said, I can't please everyone. So it has been a challenge.
My sister grew up for a huge part of her life without her dad around, and you spoke about not knowing your dad, and that's a big void in anyone's life. How have you got through that?
Man, you know, I used to think that it didn't affect me, but I think now when I look back on everything that I've been through coming up and looking for love in every man that I've, you know, ran across, I think now it's the pieces are coming together. I was doing that because I did not have a love from my father. Of course, my mom did a great job at loving me, but at the same time, it's very important to a kid, a girl, let alone a little girl, to have a love coming from like a man. So, you know, I guess it did affect me after all, like, you know, and you know, I've dealt with a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have dealt with, and I've allowed a lot of things just because I wanted that love from a male, like a man, you know, and I guess that really affected me, and I didn't know, but you know, I'm in a better place now. Of course, I you know, of course, from going through things, I've learned lessons and what not to accept. But yeah, that's life.
So let's talk about Bitter, your collaboration with Mulatto. Some people, I'm not trying to say offend here, but some people might say two baddies on the track. You know what I'm saying? Two
Yes.
baddies.
yeah, I would say that too, you know. But yeah, honestly, you want to know a secret? Me and Mulatto never met in person.
Oh, wow.
Never. But we've only communicated by like retweeting and supporting each other online.
Have you spoke face to face, like on FaceTime or anything like that?
No, not even. I think today it might be the first time. I'm not sure yet. It's not, but it might be the first time we go live together.
So was this a lockdown creation?
Definitely. This is one of the last songs the last features that I got, Mulatto. Mulatto was the last feature I got. So, and once again, through London J, he connected it. He knows her well. So like, he was like, hey, I can get her to hop on it. And I was like, yeah, bet. Cause like Mulatto,
fire.
You know what I'm saying? She's fire. She's fire.
What's your perspective? I find this quite hilarious when I speak to many of you Americans, you know, on the other side of the pond. What's your perspective on the UK? I know you haven't been here. You're yet to come here. When you look at like pictures or you see like videos online, what's your thoughts on the UK and London?
Okay. All right. So let's see. It looks gloomy sometimes, but and then I often wonder how is the food out there. I definitely, from like seeing like series like Top Dog and things like that.
Top Boy.
Oh my God, Top Boy. From like it's pretty. I would want to go out there. I just want to see what it's like. I want to see what like it's like it's an attraction to me, you know. It seems like a different, like how I used to be super attracted to New York when I wasn't there. I would like to go to London to just like, only thing I'm scared of is the flight there. It's so long, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a long flight, man.
It would be fun to just interact with a bunch of people from London. I really want to get down pack the accent so I can do it.
You spoke about your love for LMA and Mahalia, so you're up on a bit of UK music.
Yeah, definitely. I know it isn't Estelle from there as well.
Estelle's from the UK, yeah. Shouts to Estelle.
That's the first, yeah. That's the first artist I ever heard of from there. But yeah, I love LMA. She's dope. We met in person. She's a cool, genuine person. And I would love to do a song with her one day. Maybe one day we will. And Mahalia, I actually never met her, but I think I heard of Mahalia through her and LMA's song. And her voice is like wicked. Like I love her voice. And you know, just hopefully when I cross over, I get to meet.
Give us a short tour guide for the place that you grew up in, Detroit, to someone who hasn't been there.
Okay, so I grew up everywhere in Michigan. It hasn't just, the reason why I say Detroit is because, you know, a lot of people don't know where I'm really from, which is Ypsilanti, Michigan. I was born and raised there for 6 years. And after that, I just kind of navigated everywhere throughout Michigan. But I say Detroit because I lived in Southwest Detroit for a while before I finally started YouTube and left Michigan, period. And that's the last place I was. But I'm not really like a rough kind of Detroit girl, as people would guess. You know, but
So
I definitely.
you from the uptown part? Is that what you're saying? You're from the nice bit?
No, not even the nice. Just not even the nice. Because trust me, like where I grew up as well, it's like not. You know.
Say it again. Where is it you're from?
Ypsilanti. It's still considered a minority place. You know. But I just not in Detroit, the deep parts of Detroit. Like if people was to ask me like all the streets, like I don't know it, you know. But yeah, it's definitely. I feel like just being from Metro Detroit, period, has an effect on me. Like staying humble, remaining humble, because I just know how it is to go through, and I know how it is to struggle, and I don't want to go back. So. You know, I will never forget where I came from.
Queen Naija, what are your ambitions over the next few years as a musician?
As a musician, okay, I thought you was gonna. You know, I would love to. You know, I've been nominated for awards, but I would love to actually win one. You know, and I just would love for my fan base to just continue to grow. You know, like I have a great size fan base right now, but I would love to just grow my fan base some more, because I feel like ultimately I'm getting a message out to all these people, and you know, a lot of people love I just wanted to make my mark here and pretty much become like and more involved in the business part of music. I would also love to learn how to produce. You know, because I want to learn how to press all the buttons in the studio, because with majority of my songs on there, I basically told them what instruments to use, what cadence, what chords. Like I know what I want to hear. I just have to learn how to do it. If I was able to produce my own stuff and sing it and write it, like I would feel very accomplished.
Now, I am not gassing you right now, Queen Naija. Pack Light, one of my favorite songs of the year. One of my favorite songs of the year. Sampling Dr. Dre's Explosive and Erykah Badu, Bag Lady as well. Nobody wants to pack light or be told to pack light, man. Have you ever been told to pack light?
No. I've always been the one telling people to pack light.
Talk to us about the making of this song.
The making of this song. I don't know if you know who Oak is, but he's a great producer. But we were in LA, and I was doing like, oh God, I don't know why I'm on here. So yeah, we were in LA doing like a run, and I was like with producers and all these different people that my A&R introduced me to. And we went to Oaks one day, and he was just playing this song or this beat, this loop of this sample, and I was just like, I can't come up with anything. Like, let's go to something else. So, you know, we started just trying to go to something else, and I just still couldn't come up with anything. So I'm like, yo, go back to the first one. So when I went to the first one, I'm just like, let me just really tap in and feel this. Because mind you, I had just finished releasing Butterflies Part 2, which is a lovey-dovey song. And I wasn't in the mood to make one of those kind of FU songs, you know, to the guys. I was like in this lovey-dovey stage. So I'm like, okay, let me really tap in. Let me get mad. Let me think, how would I feel right now if this person did this? Or like, you know, so I just started saying, see, I ain't got the time or the patience to deal with your today, da-da-da. You know, and I just kept going, and it turned into a song. It was kind of almost like a freestyle.
And you got a hit on your hands, man. We love it in the UK.
Thank you.
SK Vibemaker.